said something about a surprise guest and messing with Democrats. I think our next guest knows a little something about those topics. The former governor of New Hampshire, very high-profile Romney surrogate, John Sununu, joins us here in the booth. And I got to ask you, first of all, do you feel like a rock star all of a sudden? I feel like you're on cable all the time. You've become like one of the it boys of politics.
I'm just doing my job.
Just doing the job. Well, is it dangerous walking around out there? We asked Democrats that last week. Do people recognize you?
I came in with a mustache and a small nose.
So you got by there. Now we're gonna have to get you out with we have Groucho Marx glasses for you to get you through there.
I know.
All right, so let's go through the back and forth that's been going on, certainly from Democrats up here, saying that the Republican convention, David Plouffe saying it was built on a tripod of lies. They continue to go after the Janesville comments by Paul Ryan.
Look, you want to do Janesville?
Yeah,
let's do Janesville.
Let's do it.
December 2008, the plant started to be closed. Finished closed April 2009. Obama's there during the campaign prior to November 2008, says no matter what, this plant is going to stay open for a century. No matter what. He became president. He became the largest stockholder in GM, right? If he wanted to keep it open after January 21st, 2009, he could have. He broke his promise. All this garbage you are hearing as they try and dance some kind of a twisting of words makes no sense at all. The president made a commitment. He broke it.
How come it seemed to take a little bit long to get this defense of the plant closing?
You didn't invite me. You didn't invite me.
Were you surprised? Was it that nobody thought that was going to be attacked in the speech?
Nobody could imagine the guy would deny something that is so obvious.
What did Paul Ryan do for the ticket from your perspective? We've seen the polling. Doesn't look like there's huge bounce, but has it changed the internal perspective on this? Are you seeing something that maybe we're not?
Look, this is not bounce time. In spite of histories of conventions, you get a bounce in June and July convention. This is September. This is ooze time. You're going to see the polls ooze down for Obama and ooze up for Romney. And it's going to be a short step at a time kind of thing. There's not going to be big bounces up and down.
All right, let's talk about your home state. The president choosing the Granite State.
Yeah.
And where to go right after this convention. Number one state. So what does that say about New Hampshire?
Yeah.
The president's going, the vice president's going, Mrs. Obama's going, Mrs. Biden's going. It shows you they're wetting their pants over New Hampshire. They're scared stiff.
4 whole electoral votes, too.
Yeah.
You go all over it.
New Hampshire will go for Romney 2.5 to 3 points.
2.5 to 3 points.
Write it down. Write it down.
I'm going to write it right now.
What did you think? Did you get a chance to see the Ted Kennedy tribute video?
No, I did not.
They used some of the old debate clips, 1994 Romney clips. They played actually a good chunk of it. Do you think that's appropriate in this context?
Oh, sure. It's better than them lying all over the place. You got them come out. They're not even smart enough to lie about things that can't be checked. The other day, Stephanie Cutter says, we created more jobs in the 2 years of our recovery than Ronald Reagan did in his 2 years. Well, if you Google that, it takes about 38 seconds to find out that Reagan created about 7.5 million jobs. They created 4. Now, maybe she doesn't know that 7.5 is bigger than 4 million.
Sounds like you're going to help her figure that out.
Yeah, I know that's...
Yeah.
So, all right, so you say it's ooze time and not bounce time.
Right.
Do you get a sense that this race is going to shift at some point? Is it the debates? What is the moment that we're going to see
time.
something?
It's in time. Look, I've said it a few times this past week and a half. A presidential campaign is like a basketball game. In a basketball game, it's the last 2 minutes. In a presidential campaign, it's the last 2 months. A great deal of America, maybe half, does not participate in this process until the kids go back to school. They've gone back, Labor Day plus or minus a week. Now they're going to worry about their kids not having a job, the grandkids not having a job, the mother, the father, the uncle, the grand. This is when people start assessing their own personal answer to the question, are you better than you were before Obama came into office? And I think people are going to clearly give the answer that the polls are showing. 70% of America says they are not better off. 40% of America says this president does not deserve to be reelected. That's what's going to decide November.
All right, and the Democrats push back and say, that's fine and all, but what's the Romney plan? He didn't give us anything specific. at his own convention. He talked a lot about how bad things were under Barack Obama, but not how they'd be better.
What the president doesn't understand is that this idea of doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result is what has scared the death out of the private sector. They're sitting with more cash in the private sector, businesses, for investment than they have ever had. They're watching the November election. The biggest thing to stimulate growth is to defeat Barack Obama. Those people will take their investment out of the country if he's reelected. And if Romney's reelected, they'll buy the machinery and start the hiring, and you'll see the biggest growth path. The Mitt Romney package of tax reform, of really getting America to utilize its domestic energies, not with the words you hear from these guys, but the real utilization, shale gas, coal, oil, nuclear, alternatives. That's what this country is waiting for. The minute they see a president's going to do that, this country's back on track.
You think they start moving again? All right, John Sununu, the former governor of New Hampshire. I need to get you on camera on this. Do you have the best baseball card collection in New Hampshire? If
I
not,
have the best. I think, the best baseball card collection in New Hampshire, but that's because I'm old and kept my old baseball cards.
That counts. That counts.
I want to have a baseball card off.
Come
right
see
here.
You got it. It's going to be a stop on the campaign trail as far as I'm concerned.